today is certainly no exception. With me is Mr. Ian Gillan from the legendary Deep Purple, man of voice, man of hair, man of character, and man of longevity in the world of rock and roll.
Tom, great to see you again.
Hello, yeah, Governor. There's a lot of albums out, actually. You've got your own album out, came out very recently. There's this one coming up, which is the 30 years of Deep Purple, right? And there's the Deep Purple Abandon album.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're flogging a lot of product.
Well, we're very prolific these days, Tom. I mean, we've got a lot of time to catch up for, you know. We haven't been very busy over the last 30 years. So, these things all come in like squadges. I mean, it's coincidental, I think, the 30... I only found out about the 30-year album. I mean, we've heard it's in the pipeline, but today someone said, oh, yes, oh, here's the
That's
track.
us.
Oh, my God. And actually, it's brilliant. It runs right from Hush right through to Ted the Mechanic from Perpendicular and right through to Any Fool Know That from the current album, Abandon. So I'm all in favour of that. It's not just folk. And it's got some of the time with David in the band and everything else. It's brilliant. It's a good representation. Nice stuff.
30 years, long time, 30 years career, 30 years, nearly a third of a century. I mean, it's a hell of an achievement for a band too. Even though there's been breaks, even though there's been, you know, changes over the years, it's a long time for, if you like, a trademark to exist and still to conquer the marketplace, which it does.
It is. In fact, these things come home to you now and again. One of the unsettling things that I'm having to deal with is that I realise that we've gone through the abuse period and suddenly, you know, Purple's career has been like this, but there's always been this fantastic fan base. They've been so solid throughout all the bad times. And I suddenly realised the other day that we're getting to a sort of stage of life where somebody said, well, you're almost respectable now. And I'm going, this doesn't sit well when the rebel is still beating in your heart.
Yeah.
It's very hard to sort of deal with both things. And you've got to be gracious, and you've got to say, well, thank you very much. And of course I'm proud of the band, and we're all proud of what's happened. And we remember the good times more than the bad times. But, you know, there's still that hunger. And so you're going, thank you very much. Excuse me, I'm just going to go knock a wall down.
We'll talk some more in a second, but first let's go on to these albums. I've got some copies of the albums here. That's that. Abandon, it looks like that, and we've got Handful, looks like that. But also we've got Deep Purple 30, the very best of, and also if I'm really lucky, and I talk very nicely to him, because he's not quite expecting this, we'll also have copies of Dreamcatcher, which happens to be Mr. Gillan's solo album, to give away as well. Oh. So am I up for a few?
No problem, yeah, no problem, buddy.
Five or six?
Yeah, half a dozen.
Half a dozen?
Yeah.
Sorted. So to win a copy of each of these albums, that's 3 albums, right? All you have to do is to follow this simple instruction, and that is, answer this question. Which 90s rock band had a hit with Deep Purple's Hush? Which 90s rock band had a hit with Deep Purple's Hush? Send your entries to Friday Rock Show, 17 to 29 Hawley Crescent, London NW18TT, or you can get to me via the email as well, tommy@segway.demon.co.uk.
But I remember just the same.
Just saw Bad Attitude by Deep Purple. With me is Ian Gillan, who, of course, is from Deep Purple, but you saw him in the video anyway. And you chose that video, didn't you? You said, play that, or else.
I did. You know, it's a weird thing doing videos. I think a lot of the stuff that we did in the old days was from shows, you know, like television pop shows and stuff like that. And we never really got into it. And there was a time when I said, well, we ain't going to play them anyway, so no point doing them.
Right.
But I think we made a few efforts with Perfect Strangers. And on that House of Blue Light album, it was brilliant, because they just sent some guys down the studio and they said, well, just go through the song. And they did a few outtakes and sprayed a bit of smoke around, but everyone felt comfortable in the studio. We weren't trying to be actors or trying to say, well, interpret these lyrics in such a way, a cast of thousands and all that sort of thing. And we did another one, Call of the Wild, from the same album. It's a joke. $250,000 in some studio, you know, like people dwarfs and jugglers and chimpanzees everywhere. And they came out and said, oh, we're in the lift. Oh, I don't want to be in this video. And that was it. You know? And it's just this thing. great, and it was awful.
What was the lowest point in 30 years? The lowest point? There's been lots of highs, but...
2 or 3, actually. Late 72. I think there's a picture of Roger collapse. You must have seen that picture of Roger collapsed on the dressing room floor, tears rolling down his face. We used to just burst into tears. We didn't know why, you know. It was just horrendous. This wonderful thing had just exploded, and we didn't know why. We hadn't got a clue. I'm jacking it in. I don't really know why. I've read the letter. It doesn't make a lot of sense, except there's a cry for help or whatever, you know.
I mean, we don't fight all the time. It's just when things get to a head, it gets fairly explosive, you know. But
it's a bit like countries, you know. It's the Middle East, you know. Sometimes we make peace and sometimes we have wars. You know.
Where are you now?
At the moment, we just made peace. So.
When was your last war?
Last night.
It nearly came to blows a few times, but it was just the general mood of things and the feeling that, what are we doing this for? I mean, I remember crying the first night at the Speakeasies after 7 years in the business, you know, and joined the band with Rog, and that was our first gig. Oh, this is it. This is it, you know. This is it. It's what I've been searching for 7 years. No dreams, no ambitions, no ideas about hit records or anything. Just to be in a band like this was everything. And I think that's the ultimate reward throughout my life, is to just be in a good band, really. And the fact that it wasn't working, and the fact that it was a facade. The fans were fantastic, but even the best fans were kind of going, come on, you know. And there was no future. There was absolutely no future. And that terrifying abyss right in front of you, thinking, well, we gave it our best shot, but it ain't going to work.
Yeah, but then you had the courage to come back and give it a shot again. Yeah. And at this time, and every time you have come back, it has worked. Yeah. And it's working extremely well now. We have a pair of tickets, incidentally, for each of the UK dates. And the UK dates of Deep Purple are London on the 14th of October, Birmingham on the 15th, Glasgow on Saturday the 17th, and Manchester is on the 18th. All those gigs in October. All you have to do to win a pair is to state which gig you'd like to go to and send your entry in as quickly as possible to this address. The Friday Rock Show, 17 to 29 Hawley Crescent, London NW1 8TT. You can get to me on the email tommy@segway.demon.co.uk. And remember that is the same address for the Deep Purple albums that we're generously, only because they were generous enough to give them to us, we're going to give away to you if you answer that question I gave you earlier on. Mr. Gillan, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thank you very much indeed.
And you, mate. Great.
Make a couple more videos. You know what I mean? And what about video for your album, something from your album? Because I never saw it. I know you made one.
I did, actually, but I never got around to showing it to anyone. I had great fun making it.
Yeah?
I'll send you a copy.
Promise?
Yeah.
It's a deal. OK, would you care to introduce this track?
Yeah. This is actually one of the best videos we ever made. This is a kind of semi-documentary of Purple when we were happy again in the 80s. Perfect Strangers.